Scenario: the creator of 9 o'clock, Bang Bimyon, the last script. Summary: the story of Bang Bimyon, a third-rate novelist, struggling to pay his monthly rent, who suddenly becomes the creator, penning the scripts for the 9 o'clock news. After completely transforming the destiny of South Korea, he leaves everything behind in this grand fantasy tale. Scenario: the creator of 9 o'clock, Bang Bimyon, meaning must empty the room in Korean. Episode 1. The man who must empty the room and the rainbow. Get out! Empty the room. The voice piercing through the old plywood door was as sharp as an ice pick. In a tiny Tupyeong-gosiwon dorm room, the moldy wallpaper trembled slightly. Bang Bimyon woke up with a violent start. Dried saliva stained the corner of his mouth, and a 3-day-old cup of instant ramen sat lonely on his desk. Bang! 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 I know you're in there, mister. Bang! Are you dead or alive? Answer me! It was Kim Mal-soon, the building owner, and the absolute authority who held the power of life and death over Bimyon. He cautiously opened the door. The pungent smell of medicated patches wafted from her and stung his nose. Grandmother, it's early morning. What's going on? What's going on? My blood pressure is about to explode. Because you haven't paid rent in 3 months. Is this room a charity? You say your name is Bang Bimyon, and you're certainly living up to it. Bang Bimyon meaning must empty the room. Fine, have it your way. Be out of here by tomorrow morning. Grandmother, just 1 more week. Once the results for the new spring literary contest come out. Literary contest? You failed 3 years ago, and you failed last year. My patience expired yesterday. If your bags aren't out by 900 a.m. tomorrow, I'm throwing that junk computer of yours into the hallway. Slam! The door closed. Bimyon slumped onto his bed/chair. Scattered across the desk were manuscript, bundles stained with ramen broth, and a pile of rejection slips. My name is Bang Bimyon. My Korean father named me to be a bright surface that illuminates the 4 directions. But in reality, I'm just a guy destined to empty his room. 32 years old, an unpublished novelist. Fired from my part-time job at the convenience store, all I have left is an old laptop that dies in 10 minutes unless the charger is plugged in. They say the landlord is above the creator. This is disgusting. Frustrated, Bimyon opened his laptop. A white word processor window flickered onto the glitchy screen. Normally, he would have been tearing his hair out over the first sentence of a historical novel. But today was different. Rage boiled over. If I could change the world with a single line of text, I'd change this rotten fate of mine first. He began to type frantically. These weren't the refined sentences of a novelist. They were delusions, curses thrown at a miserable reality. Titled tomorrow's news content. March 26, 2026. A massive rainbow appears over the Seoul sky. Witnessing this sight, which even the weather agency failed to predict, people momentarily forget their poverty and pain and rediscover their smiles. Yeah, right. Keep dreaming. Rainbows? All I see is dark clouds. He slammed the enter key. The laptop fan whirred loudly. He closed the lid and tried to sleep. After eating a near-expired triangular kimbap, never dreaming that this was the divine prelude that would overhaul his life. Next morning, 900 a.m., the noise from the hallway speakers drifted into the windowless room. Usually filled with swearing or dry coughing, the hallway was unusually loud today. Look at that! My God! What is that? It's impossible! The entire Seoul sky is a rainbow! Bimyon scratched his messy hair and stepped out. In front of the old TV in the common room, residents stood with their mouths agape. The breaking news ticker hit Bimyon's pupils like a physical blow. Breaking news. Giant double rainbow of unknown origin. Appears over Seoul. Weather agency. Unprecedented in meteorological history. The anchor on screen reported with a flushed face. Helicopter shots showed 7 colored rainbows vividly embracing the city. Citizens across Seoul are pouring out of their workplaces and homes to witness this spectacle. Miraculously, those who see it claim they feel a sense of spiritual purification. Goosebumps erupted across Bimyon's back. The sentence he wrote out of spite last night. It was becoming the news, word for word. No way. It's a coincidence. How many novelists are there in Korea? The world can't just move according to what I write. He stumbled back to his room and opened the laptop. He decided to try something more specific, more ridiculous. Content March 26, 100 p.m. A flock of extinct dodo birds appears in Gwanghwamun Square. As if trained, they perform a group shuffle dance for the citizens, delivering a message of peace. He swallowed hard and hit enter. 100 p.m. sharp, his smartphone notifications went wild. Live from Guanghuamen. Are dodo birds for real? Breaking extinct dodos. Spark, shuffle dance commotion. Academic world in shock. It's real. It's actually happening. The world is changing as I write. Baimyeon hugged the laptop. This old machine was no longer a tool for a novelist. It was the creator's pen, a device that reconstructed reality and scripted the 9 o'clock news in advance. Episode 2. The Sea of Agony. The Han River. Mr. Bang. No, Author Bang. Are you in? The voice of Kim Mal-soon, which sounded like it would break the door down yesterday, had flipped 180 degrees. When he opened the door, she was standing there, bowing with a set of premium Hanwoo beef. Oh, I was a bit harsh yesterday, wasn't I? I always knew you'd make it big. Rent? Forget it. You can stay for free. Here, have some beef. The reason for her change was in his phone. Content. An anonymous donor deposits 10 million KRW for Bang. Bimyeon's overdue rent and a beef party. The landlord apologizes after confirming this. His bank account showed exactly 10 million KRW. For the first time in 32 years, he had a fortune. But he wasn't interested in food. He sat down to write again. He almost wrote about stocks, but exhaustion took over. A whale appears in the Han River to make people happy. He typed half asleep. His finger slipped. His exhausted brain chose a completely different word than whale gore. Actual record. A massive agony go-high appears in the Han River. It was a typo, a fatal one. He was woken up by the 9 o'clock news. The TV screen looked like a scene from hell. This is the Han River. Due to a sudden unknown vibration, citizens are falling to their knees and wailing. It is a scene of mass confession of agony, as if experiencing the pains of a lifetime all at once. No, this isn't it! As he scrambled to fix it, he saw the battery 1%. He realized the scale of the event drained the battery of the world's energy. Just then, heavy boots sounded in the hallway. A red laser pointer seeped under the door. Bang Bimyeon, National Intelligence Service. Step away from the laptop. Your manuscripts are now classified as Grade 1 state assets. The world's readers, the powerful ones, had finally found him. Episode 3, The Beautiful Editor, Seo Haisu. Mr. Bang, your ending strokes are a bit rough. Through the tactical team, a woman walked out. Seo Haisu, an NES agent. She held his old rejected manuscripts. I'm your only reader who has read everything from your Gosiwan. Shorts to your failed contest entries. The dodos were tacky, but the rainbow was brilliant. However, the agony at the Han River was clearly a typo. Need an editor? She offered him a deal right for the state. They would filter his typos, he would draw the world. You have creativity, but we have the system. It's the perfect collaboration. Baimyeon saw the handcuffs in her pocket. Sorry, but I prefer solo writing. Content Seo Jesu's heel snaps. The wall of room 204 collapses, and a thick fog rises. Snap! Her balance broke. The wall crumbled, revealing an escape route to the next building. Episode 4, the final 1% conclusion. Baimyeon ran toward the subway station, drones buzzing overhead. Jesu's voice echoed, "Stop! You can't make any more typos!" At the subway entrance, he was surrounded. Jesus stood there, barefoot, her heel broken. "Trust me as your reader," she pleaded. "For the country? No, for you." Baimyeon laughed. "I'd just be a machine in a smaller room. That's not my novel." With his last 1% of power, he typed his final sentence. No typos allowed. Content tomorrow, every bank in the nation will distribute 1,000,000. Furthermore, the leaders of North and South Korea meet at Panmunjom and agree on a permanent reunification. Bang Bimyeon is no longer trapped in a small room. He walks toward the continent. Enter. The screen went black. 0%. Silence. Then the station screens erupted. Breaking news! A national relief fund of 1 million won, and a peace treaty at Panmunjom. Amidst the cheers of the citizens and the stunned silence of the agents, Baimyeon threw his dead laptop into a trash can and melted into the crowd. Seo Jesu stood there, clutching his old manuscripts, watching the spot where he vanished. She whispered the last line of his notes. A true creator knows how to place the final period and walk away.